Okay, so cleanup. All right. So I got this shape here. It's sort of a cutesy, cartoony cloud. It's mediocre. It is technically crap. Okay. It's yes, we have all four-sided polys in it, but the bottom way too many polys than I need. This is made by combining a bunch of things, and yeah, the computer whacked everything together, but it has not given me a good model or a light model to work with. Um, and so I need to go through here and kill off these guys. All right, and look for you know cruddy stuff in here. Oops. All right, and so just organize things. It's like, do I really need a triangle there to get that shape? No. Okay. So now typically as I go through here, I don't really kill off the individual guys because I can do that at the end. Um, and so this is just hours of fun. And so this is when you're creating something. Was this fast to model this way? Yeah, really fast. But the cleanup is killing me. So you have to come up with strategies to not only get the model that you need, but also have it so that it's not too messy to get it technically accurate. So you're not, trying to get rid of glitches at the last minute when your boss is yelling you, why isn't this thing done? Um, okay, so I've left a few of these guys in there. I can really just grab it like that and kill them. Now the other thing is when I'm doing cleanup like this, all right, as you notice, I have it double-sided at the moment. If I turn on backface culling, that just makes it less likely I'm going to select something and delete it. Okay, so yeesh. Yeah, there's not really, I'm not getting much added to the form there, and since this is for a game, I have to keep my numbers down. And so, if I pull this guy out, is my form still good? Yes, it still looks nice. And it's going to give me a better result. Okay, so there's being technically accurate, and then there's, but you also, well, it has to be a good piece of art. That's what they pay us for. So, so then it's like, all right, which one of these do I pull out? And so it's going through, and maybe I divide this guy that way. So maybe you have to go through and redivide stuff, so it's a bit more logical. And a lot of times, you're modeling away on something, maybe something a bit more intuitive or a bit more normal than this. And you make some decisions. You go, hey, yeah, that looks great. Well, maybe a half hour later, or the next day, you go, oh, gee, that's not, why did I do that? Because it doesn't make sense anymore. Just like when you're sketching, you're doing a drawing. By the way, there I saw I thought I clicked on this guy. It's highlighted someone behind it. I hit delete. And so that's why I have the backface culling off, is so I can really make sure that I'm grabbing the guys on the front side and not accidentally having someone selected on the back side that I don't want. Anyhow, so but yeah, so just like when you're doing a drawing, you sketch, you put down lines that look good at the time, and then you work for a little while later and you erase them because they've helped you on your journey to that final piece of art, but they're not really necessary there at the end. So yeah, it's a lot of this. And if we look at the bottom, absolutely messy. Okay, so I'm going to have to really tear out huge chunks of this. I might really just tear out big pieces of this, or I could even delete out the bottom and restart it. And So by killing off these guys, what I get to do is then just using a little common sense, I can say, hey, go from here to there. And yeah, I'm not super happy with that. But sometimes just getting a line in is necessary. And v-snap that and merge. Okay. So I can just, once I clear out all this junk, slowly go through, divide things up, and get it so it has the least number of polys possible. Okay, so yeah, it's yeah, like through here. I mean, it's very obvious that I have way too many extra edges in here and extra triangles that don't improve the form of the model, and it just takes up my poly count for no good reason. So, and everything needs to be in there doing a job, doing some work for you. If it's really helping define the form, leave it. But, if it's not, then get it out of there. Kill it. Okay. So, and then as I said, I just can select the whole thing at the end, and it'll just kill off any verts that are going through, only have two edges into them. Okay, so stuff like that. So it has this edge and that edge, and so it knows when I just select the whole thing just to kill that off. So handy little trick. I've had a few students that didn't know about it and just worked like dogs doing them one at a time, and it just okay. So okay. So here is another file that needs cleaning up, and there's a lot of messy stuff in here. Okay, so you want to make sure like each piece is named. This guy isn't named. His pivot point is not at a logical place, right? So I'd want to put his pivot point there, and let's see, base. Okay, good. And all right. And so I pop down here, and I look at that guy, and he's looking a little on the heavy side, but basically good. But he seems to have a keyframe on him. He shouldn't have a keyframe on him. So I need to break that connection. So, all right, and that also he needs his pivot point moved to someplace logical. So, and stand. Okay. And, I look at this guy and it's like, yeah, it's not great, but I guess I can live with it. How are we doing over here? He's pretty good. Alrighty. If I grab this guy, alright, I look through it and I got triangles, I got faces that aren't four sides. So somehow this guy got deleted. So I need to pull him out. So I just toss that in there and on the back side. Okay, probably. So yeah, he looked okay, but he's gotten broken up into a few pieces. So let's see. Oh wow. Well, that is damn messy. So I am going to grab as much of this as I can and put it back into one piece. So yeah, so this guy accidentally got um, uh, separated, and so all right, so popping over to the polygon menu set and go to mesh and do combine, and so now that combines those guys, and I can do it in multiple steps here. Oops, oh, I did one too many. I didn't want this guy as part of that selection, or that guy. Righto. Yeesh. Yeah, so all this has to get put into a into proper grouping. This would really be upset the game engine if we let this guy go through like this. All right, and let's try the combine now. Combine and edit, delete by type history. Good. Grab these guys and okay, do a combine on them. Now remember, we have all those edges to merge, but it should be fairly easy. And edit, let's see, combine. Okay, so now that's all one piece. That's good. Yeah, probably want that separate. Good. And and okay, so these guys need their pivot points. Probably all that, those guys probably should be combined too. So mesh, combine. So it's really a matter of looking, what are you going to need for animation? And yeah, so that I'd really want right there in the center. Oops, hold down D, and yeah, so you pop to the side view. Okay. And D, so get that right there, accurate, right in the center. Oops, the whole thing has been moved. Okay, so there we go. So that's back on track. Alrighty. So we got a strange edge here that needs to get removed, and okay, so this file is actually a test file, and so my students in one course, they had to actually find all the mistakes I'd put in. And of course that was 2 years ago, and I don't remember where all the fun stuff I put in here went to. Okay. So let's see, I need to check my surface normals. And so let's do that quickly. So there's several places I can do that. Let's go and into here. So I'm just in the attribute editor, and okay, double-sided, and okay, so he's good, double-sided, good, and okay, so yeah, his primary he would end up in a video game with the surfaces the wrong way around. Okay, and these things happen when you mirror geometry. And so you just have to know about it and look for it. Okay, that's, yeah, he's inside out too. So now I'm lucky, I sort of know where to look, just because I built the file. All right. So you go through there, and you can also check by going to display and polygons and do face normals, and you can look at them that way and just make sure that they're all coming out. And so you're, you're good at that point. Alrighty. So let's see, got a few more things that need combining into this. So basically I grabbed half of it and separated it when I made that. Okay, combine and good. And so now I will select the verts on this guy. Turn off the selection of the joints, verts, and there we go. And just do a merge. So that should merge them, and they should be good. Okay, would have to relay out the UVs on them. So I'm just going to see if I can pull these guys out. No, they're not merged properly. Why aren't they not merged? We hit the button. Yeah, that's... So you see, even when you hit the button, sometimes you got to go back and try again. Merge. Okay, so hopefully that solves it. And yeah, we got some extra guys along there. Okay, so good. And actually, let's putting those guys back in. All right. Because I do want to have that divided up like that. Okay. So yeah, it's basically all the polygons should look like squares. You should not have anything weird like this. Is that 4 sides? Yeah, that's 4 sides, but it's crap. So that's going to be hard for the computer to calculate. So I'll go up like that, and so that's going to be easier. I will kill this guy off. So you really need to budget time to do this sort of work. There we go. And oops, that was an average. Let's see. There's the merge. And so check on the other side. Oh my. So maybe pull that guy out first, and then, well, I do want to have it match up. Yeah, probably like that actually is better than the way I did it on the first side. So if I was really doing this, I'd go back and fix the first guy. You also want to look for things like this and go, gee, that set of edges, if it was like that, that'd be one thing, because that's improving the model. But it's really just giving me extra verts and polys, so I might as well kill that out. So you want to call those things out, So yeah, you also want to look at your normals and go, hey, is the would this look better with hardened normals? So I go up to normals here and harden them, and so that gives them, that sort of look. Over here I have soft normals on this edge. So if I grab this edge and this guy and we harden them, okay, so now you see I have that nice hard edge there. And you see how I don't have it on a lot of this, and it looks like crap. So, you have to go through and get all these guys put in, the way you need them in your game. And come on. Okay. So you get the idea there. You just keep going with that. Then what you want to do is, and you have to go through, do your UVs, make sure all the UVs are cleaned up, the history is deleted, you go into cleanup here, and you have cleanup matching polys. And if I do that, if I just whack this, you see how it builds all this extra geometry in there? So yeah, it saved me some time, but I got a crap model. And so that's not saving me time. So you want to have this set to select matching polys, hit apply, and then it selects them and you go, oh, hey, that's that needs to be fixed. So you go through and you go, if I go like this, bingo, bango, you see how I can get something that's a much better shape there, okay, with less polys than what the computer kicked out automatically. It's also going to make it easier for you to do your texture mapping. And all right, and I still, I'm not certain if I'd want a triangle one that small there, but okay, so you bash through like that. So remember, you're the one with the brain, all right? So the computer does not know what you're building. So you have to go through and be very strategic on these things. This is probably too heavy. Don't think that's part of the test. Yeah, I think that was just me quickly modeling this. So, if I pull these guys out, you see how I can save a lot of polys. Yeah, is it longer to model this way? Absolutely. But, the whole thing with games is getting it so that the computer has the easiest workload on every single frame because it has to calculate that model and that texture and the lighting, several times per second, usually 15 in games. And so, that's your priority. Okay, so you have to be able to model this stuff quickly, but with an eye to keeping it light for the game engine. Okay, and so that means getting all this sort of stuff done. Now I probably need to divide up that guy like we looked at before, and probably pop through there and see if deleting. Okay, I got out some of that. That's good. And probably a little, yeah, okay, that worked out fairly well. So you don't want any extreme polygons. Everything should sort of look basically like a square. You don't want super long triangles. And yeah. So I probably can kill that guy at that point, or wait, if I kill this guy, hey, that works. So, nice big trapezoid, and yeah, so, oh boy. All right, so I'm not going to get too far into the UVs. Obviously, you have to check those, make sure those things are solid. You have to make sure every item is labeled. Okay, so you want to label, make sure everything is logically labeled. You have to kill the history off of everything. Edit, delete by type history, and yep. So everything's properly combined. That needs more work, but you don't need to watch me do that. Okay, so let's look in the hypergraph hierarchy, and okay, who are all you guys? Oh, you guys are all broken up. Yeah, I'll skip that for today's discussion. And okay, and that probably needs to combine and edit. Every time you do something like that, even though I've done a delete history on this, I now have to go back and make sure I do another delete by type history. So, okay, so frame. Okay. And you may want to, depending on your project, maybe you're tagging everything with geo at the end for the geometries, so that you can keep everything a bit more organized. And okay, oops, there's a null. Kill the null. And all right. So now these guys, these would probably move together. So I'd group them, right? So Control G, there we go. So those are grouped. I make sure that I move the pivot point for the group there, and so that's D, and get that into the right location. Okay. Not going to be super accurate just because I'm only demoing. So this would be, the Winder GRP. Okay, so alrighty. So like these pieces here, these are all going to move together, and so I'm going to group them. Oops, Control G. All right, so these are grouped together. The winder is going to move under them, so I'm going to put that guy like that. So top. Okay, so all that's together. Let's see, who are you? Okay, you are those guys. You are them. All right, so then I got my base, and probably this guy. These guys are also going to move basically together, so I'll group them together. And okay, and D. Righto, and there we go. So let's see. Then this would be probably the base group. Base group. So you have to have a logical naming system, and okay, good. Now this guy. Yeah, all right, where's he going to pivot from? He's going to pivot from there, so move the pivot. And really you want to do that in the side view for best results. There we go. And so that's good. And all right. And I guess I will group that under the base. Yeah, I'll start making sure all these guys get their names. And Geo. Okay, grab all of these guys individually, do a freeze transformations on them. Same with these guys, modify freeze transformations. Okay, so basically anything that yeah, you really want to have the model so that when you screw something up, you just put it back to 0, 0, and it's right where it was modeled. Okay, so let's see, handle geo and pivot geo and put an R on this guy, put an L on that guy. Everything needs its own unique name at this point. And all right, so these guys, okay, you should all be part of the base, so I'll just do a combine and call it base. Move the pivot point again, and actually base geo. Modify, freeze transformations. So, and oops, modify, delete, edit, delete by type history, kill the history off of it. Okay, who are you? Okay, you also just need to be over here. Base group P. Oops, the base geo there needs to get dropped there. This guy is bracket geo. And let's see, hold down D and position him. Yeah, so this is what the work is. Okay, so then, see, group, so you eventually get the whole model grouped under one group. And so that would be the crossbow, top, or maybe it's master, maybe it's whatever your naming convention is on your project. So that's most of it. It's you got to check your normals. You have to check your UVs. You have to make sure everything is named, everything is grouped. The pivot points are in the correct locations. That all the surfaces have the right normaling, so that when they want a hard edge, you have a hard edge. When you want a soft edge, you have a soft edge. That all the polys are four-sided, and you don't have any wacky triangles that are super long, or four-sided polys like we saw where it's folded on itself. It doesn't really look like a square. It should look like some sort of square or rectangle and distorted, so like that's fine. But anything too crazy gets you into trouble. Typically what I do with the cleanup is, as I said, I do select matching. Okay, I do I'll check the concave faces, and I do these guys one at a time. I look, I see where the problem is, and so that's telling me there's a problem here. I got to go in, I got to fix that. I fix faces with holes. I just go through them all one by one and see what the issues are and kill it off. So it's this. I have to be in objects mode when I run it, and yeesh. Yeah, and it gets very finicky. Oh yeah. So I slowly go through all of them. The faces with zero map area, you got to watch that one, because it will just, especially if you have it on cleanup matching polys, it will just, anything that's not in that basic box in the UVs, it'll delete. It just kills it. So, it's definitely something you need to schedule a half hour, an hour to go through the model, check all of these things. If you're still running into some wacky problems, what you want to do is export the model as an OBJ and import it into a fresh file. That usually will clean out anything too crazy in there. So you also want to tap dance on that delete by type history button. So because every time you do something with polys, it's going to make a new history node there and keep track of things. So you want to make sure you delete that out. And those are the main things to really look for. You want to have animation only where you need the animation. You want to make sure all your normals, your object is facing the correct way, and you have your primary surface normals out. You want to go also through into in the hypershade and make sure that every single material is labeled. Your shading groups are labeled. Your lights are labeled. Your Place 2D texture nodes are labeled. I'm horrible at remembering to do that. But everything in here needs to be labeled. Otherwise, you're just it's going to be really hard to track down mistakes later on. Okay, so when the Unity engine says there's a problem, blah, 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 with Poly Surface 27, well, where's Poly Surface 27? So if you have clear labeling, that will make your life easier and more, and your experience here a lot more fun. Hope that helps. Have fun.